Hello and welcome to the trailer episode for Season 2 of the University of Liverpool Academy's Developing Practice podcast. Today, myself, Matthew Davis, an Organisational Developer, and Alex Owen, a Senior Academic Developer, will just highlight some of the things that we really enjoyed from Season 1, and we'll give you a bit of a preview into what's going to be happening in Season 2. So Alex, what did you make of Season 1?
I absolutely loved recording season 1. Speaking to those people was a real privilege, just getting some time to hear from them in terms of their experiences, their stories, what they were working on at the moment, and then having the opportunity to reflect on some of that for my own personal practice. I really, really enjoyed every single conversation that we had. And we had conversations with a whole range of different people from across our institution and also from across the sector as well. So that was really good. I learned loads in terms of what other people are doing in higher education that I don't often come into contact with. So I really, really enjoyed it. Something that really came through to me was this idea of making sure that we take time out to reflect on our practice and on the practice of others with a view to enhancement. For me, that's been really, really important. And I've made these podcasts now a core part of my commute to work, or at the moment with working at home, I've been taking some time during my daily walk to really listen to the podcasts and then think, well, what does this cause me to reflect on and to think about in terms of what I'm doing? And there's been people who we've talked to who I would never normally come into contact with, and they're doing very different jobs to me. But actually, there are aspects of their practice that have caused me to think about what I do, and I've really, really enjoyed that. So one of the key things that I've kind of been reminded of from this series is to continue to reflect and to build in time to reflect on my practice.
Yeah, I really agree with what you were saying around reflection. I've also been using the podcasts during my commute when we were commuting to learn about those things that are happening that other people are doing to then build that into my own practice. So yeah, it's been great. Like you, it's been a great opportunity to have conversations with people around the institution and some external people that I would never have normally got to meet. So it's been a real great learning experience. I think one of the themes that I found from season 1 was that there is a real importance around cheering each other on, not just professionally but personally as well. And we saw that from a few of the conversations where people had mentoring experiences, and that sometimes that was in a really high-profile national role, but in other times as well that was done locally. And people in sort of smaller roles, local roles to the university, have had the opportunity for mentorship, and they've also been able to cheer on other people sort of as a result of their experiences, which was great. You know, there's definitely value in both.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's something that's really important to me, is cheering people on and getting alongside people, mentoring them and supporting them. And I think something that came out in quite a lot of the podcasts that we recorded was the importance of that kind of informal support, but also formal recognition as well. We spoke to a number of people who had been recognised formally, whether it was with kind of learning and teaching recognition through Advanced HE, or learning and teaching fellowships through our institution, or national teaching fellowships, a whole range of different ways that people had been recognised formally. And for me, that's really, really important. That's part of that kind of cheering on that we're talking about, that recognition is important in and of itself, but also it then opens up a whole range of different avenues for people to develop the opportunities that they have. It puts people in contact with people from across the institution who they wouldn't normally meet, and therefore they're able to develop their practice as a result of that.
Yeah, and we picked that up in season 2, which we'll come to in a second. That recognition, you know, does run through a lot of the conversations that we have, and the importance of it. Just one final thing for me on season 1, there was some synergies between a few of the conversations we had around creating networks, and actually, I suppose those networks turning into communities, and sometimes communities of practice. We saw that with with the 3 ladies that we spoke to who had gone through the Springboard program in the Creating Confidence episode. And I think, again, that was also, obviously we had that podcast with the student experience manager who went out there and created a community in her faculty to share best practice and have just to bring the faculty together in some ways around that student experience, to share those good practice things that were happening with students. So another great theme that we pulled out of season 1, and we think that'll be important going into season 2 as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I mean, that's the main emphasis behind this whole podcast, isn't it? Is actually creating a little community online where we are sharing stories with each other and learning from each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So tell us about series 2.
So on to season 2. I mean, we've got some really, really interesting conversations coming up. Just a note before I do talk about them, just to say that many of the conversations that you'll hear over the coming weeks were recorded sort of in the run-up to where we are now in terms of the coronavirus outbreak. The outbreak had happened in China. We do mention it in a few conversations, but I did think it was just worth saying that many of these conversations were recorded on campus, and you can obviously see how much the world has changed since some of these conversations. But just going into some of those conversations that we've had, we've got some really interesting talks with people who champion other people, just the same on season 1. So we've got people who champion equality. We dive a little bit deeper into well-being, and we sort of try to get under the skin of well-being and what that means for people and the understanding of that. And we have some really good practical advice and some sort of tips in that well-being episode. And then we also link back to a few things like we just mentioned in season 1 there about recognition. We talk about the technician commitment that the university signed, and how important it is for technicians these days to be able to get themselves recognised, not just within the institution, but externally as well through professional registration.
Brilliant. And also within the series, we've embedded some special episodes as part of the Making an Impact series. So that's an annual programme of events aimed to provide a rich and varied, high quality development opportunities for researchers, academics, and research related professional services staff. And that's going to take place between the 1st and the 19th of June. And some of the podcasts I think will be relevant to all of our listeners, but we'll have a special emphasis for colleagues being engaged in that Making an Impact series. So we've got lots of really good episodes coming out. 50% of them have been recorded with colleagues from inside our institution, and then the other 50% with colleagues from across the sector. So you'll have a whole range of different stories to listen to and aspects to reflect on in terms of developing your practice. So if you'd like to take any of your thinking further, don't forget that we do have the website for you to look at. That's at liverpool.ac.uk/the-academy/podcast. On that website, we've linked to a reading list for every episode that we've had and every episode that's coming up. So you'll be able to look at a whole range of different resources there, from academic journal articles, book chapters, websites, to further your thinking on the topic that we cover in each podcast. So do have a little look at that and use that if that's helpful to you. We also love to hear from you, and we love to hear about what you think about each episode. So please do continue to tweet us at Live Uni Academy. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the podcasts that you're listening to. You can also contact us directly on Twitter. Matt is at eLearnerMatt, and I'm at Alexandra_Owen.
Yeah, and if you can please rate and review. I mean, it's really important that it's really important to us if you can do that, because it does help other people find the podcast. The more ratings we get, the more reviews that are published, just pushes us up the metrics when people search for Liverpool Academy. So yeah, if you can please rate and review in Apple Podcasts or via your normal podcast platforms such as Spotify or Google Podcasts, or even on YouTube, that'd be really, really much appreciated. Bye for now.